you do have permission to heal. You have permission to be hurt. You have permission to feel your emotions. You have permission to learn from your mistakes and not live in shame and condemnation.
Because I never really had the space. No one's really ever asked me like, hey, what are you going through? We give too much power to other people, and we really give power to the enemy to play tricks with us, because we'll start fighting people, and it's like sometimes it's not the person, it's the spirit.
Yes, someone hurt us, but what we do to the Lord is 10 times worse.
I know for a fact I had that mentality, like I'm not turning my cheek. Like, you want to try me, I'm going to finish it, right? And the Lord had to bring me through a process where it's like, Marvel, you, all of that, you need to unlearn all of it. I'm checking and I'm checking and I'm checking and I'm checking, and I have a whole breakdown in the office.
When you understand yourself, and how you process things and how you want things and the different needs that you have, you're able to get to a different space, because now you're understanding, why is this triggering me? Why is this pissing me off so much? Like, what is it here that's bothering me?
Hi guys, it's Marvel here.
And I'm Tahani, and this is the Lift Up Your Voice podcast.
And I'm happy to be here with you, cousin.
Yes, same.
What are we actually talking about something really deep today.
I actually really like this topic particularly because I think it's so needed in this like society.
Yeah.
And personally for me, I see like how much it's so beneficial. But we won't keep you guys waiting. The topic is
permission to heal.
Yes. So we're going to just be talking about like, what does it look like when you're healing? Like, give you guys I guess you could say like the visual of how it plays out, because you do have permission to heal. You have permission to be hurt. You have permission to feel your emotions. You have permission to learn from your mistakes and not live in shame and condemnation, but to learn from it and to grow from it.
Right. But in society, right? Like, when we think of how does the world heal, they kind of just go with the flow, or they put on a facade, or they make it seem like they are happy and they're really not. And I feel like Christians, in a way, we kind of do the same thing. And that could look like, staying busy. That could look like making ministry an idol and avoidance, or you're serving and you're able to appear a certain way to a person, but you won't do it for yourself, or you're not applying the advice that you're giving to others to yourself. So it could look like a whole bunch of things, but I think we are living in a time where a lot of people are numb to what they're actually feeling, and we're not going to the great counselor, but we're getting counterfeit comfort from other things as well.
Yes. And I think a lot of times too, like, we play the tough girl act or the tough boy act. Like, like, I'm not, like, no one's gonna make me cry. Like, what you did is not phasing me. We cut people off. We do payback, revenge. We get drunk and we just get high and all the things that numb the emotions. And we think that it's helping. Like, we're like, I've heard a lot of people that say, when I'm high, like, that's when I'm like chill. That's when I'm relaxed. Like, that's when I'm just vibing. But they don't realize that all they're doing is suppressing those emotions. And it's almost like, it gives me like the idea of like, I had a vision and I don't know how to like say it, but kind of like you're like bottling something all the way down, but to the point where one day it's just gonna explode. Like trying to close a closet door that's way too full and it's not gonna stay shut. And I think that people don't realize the only way to get through issues, or the only way to actually heal, is to go through. It's to feel. It's to cry. It's to scream. It's to whatever you need to do. But you have to go through it. You can't go around it. You can't ignore it. You can't pretend it doesn't exist, because as much as you're acting like it doesn't exist, it's affecting how you're showing up.
And also, like, when you don't heal, you'll start to make like agreements with yourself, or you'll start to say things that do not align with the word of God, and you're not even realizing that you are now building a stronghold mentally. So like a lot of people like will also say like, I don't trust nobody, right? Like, or you can't trust a man, you can't trust a girl, you can't trust the church, you can't trust X, Y, and Z, right? And it's like, no, you're just not healed. And if you were healed, your healed version probably wouldn't talk like that.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I know, like, for me personally, like, I've changed so much with just even the way that I think. And I'm like, wow, that was me guarded. That was me defending myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like when I got to the root of it, it's actually like, no, you just didn't feel safe. But you actually do want to be kind. You actually do, you know what I'm saying, want to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
But I wasn't healed. And it's not a one day thing. This is a process as well, because just in life in general, like we go through a lot.
Yes.
With family members, with the way you're raised, and it could feel very heavy. And I personally don't know how people like do it without Jesus, because it's already hard. It's still hard with Jesus. So I can't even imagine how much harder it is without Jesus. But this is why we're seeing so many people oppressed. So many people are angry. So many people are hurting. And it's just a whole bunch of unhealed people.
Yeah.
You know?
And a lot of people like even turn to like suicide or like all the different things. And I think a lot of times too, like we like to look at other people and we like to like put the blame on other people. Like, yeah, I get that, but you didn't see what that person did to me. Or yeah, but that person like violated, or whatever the case might be. But it's like we give the people the power to hurt us.
Right.
And it's like when we realize the only person that we can take accountability for is ourselves and our own actions and how we internalize what's happening to us, that's when we'll be able to rise above what people do. And that's when we're actually able to do the things that the Lord empowers us to do, which is forgive, which is, you know, still be kind, still show up, you know.
Yeah.
Of course with boundaries, of course, because you know, people can't just step all over you, but there's ways where what people do does not affect, like as you heal, it doesn't affect you as much as before you start healing.
Yeah, we give too much power to other people, and we really give power to the enemy to play tricks with us, because we'll start fighting people, and it's like sometimes it's not the person, it's the spirit behind the person. So we have to understand, like, we are not fighting flesh, we are fighting rulers, powers,
and principalities,
right?
yes.
So also understanding that everything is not just to the physical eye either. Like emotions have a lot to do with spiritual warfare, you know, if we're not careful. And you mentioned something about forgiveness. Like a lot of people are in a trap emotionally, or they stay unhealed because they cannot forgive. And that is a big one.
Yeah.
I will say that I see when it comes to people staying stuck and being unhealed because they do not want to forgive. And it's like the world says, do not forgive. The world says, it doesn't make sense to the world. Why would I forgive, right? But if you go to the Bible, if you don't forgive, or if you don't give the grace that God has given you, then you can't receive that from him.
Yeah, it reminds me of the parable in the Bible where there was the one that owed the debt to the king. And the king was like, I let you go, you know, you're fine. I erased all your debt. And he turns around and someone owed him even less. Even less. And he could not let it go. And he ended up, that cost him his life.
Yeah.
And it's like, we do that so much, but we don't stop to like, I don't think we realize that, yes, someone hurt us, but what we do to the Lord is 10 times worse. And so if we're trying to be like, okay, you did this to me, so now I have to do this to you, it's like, okay, then Lord to be like, okay, so I got to do this to you. And what we do deserves death. What someone else does to us, it doesn't get to that level.
Yeah.
But I don't think that we realize that the grace that God gives us is the grace we're supposed to give other people.
Right.
Like we think it's supposed to be like I don't know, like, I think, like, society helps, like, makes us equate it to, like, we're just letting someone walk all over us or I mean, technically, though
They technically even teach us that, like, don't you remember, like, in, like, high school where
Mhm.
you go to social studies class and you'll, like, learn about the different types of civilizations, and there's one where it's like, you pay an eye for an eye,
Yes,
right? So it's like
yes.
we those things were taught to us even in
Exactly.
school, like
Yeah, but the Bible literally tells us,
to turn.
yes, if someone hits your cheek, give them the other cheek.
But in like in the worldly, like for the world to understand that, they're like, who's gonna turn the
Yeah,
other
like,
cheek?
who's hitting me?
I'm hitting you in both cheeks if you hit me, right? Type of thing. So
Yeah.
we have to be careful, and we should definitely talk about like our healing journey, because I
Mhm,
know for a
mhm.
fact I had that mentality, like I'm not turning my cheek. Like you want to try me, I'm going to finish it, right? And the Lord had to bring me through a process where it's like, Marvel, you all of that, you need to unlearn all of it,
Mm.
because it's not easy in the beginning, because you do feel like, dang, like I took a L. Like it's like something is in you. It's like I can't let that go. Like I need,
Yeah.
but when you let the word really like get into your soul and really like um teach you, you realize like I really have to be set apart.
Mm.
And I have to stop opening the doors for the enemy to even play with me, emotionally, physically, mentally, financially,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
when you're not healed, like these things flow in those areas.
Yeah, so when I know you just mentioned like how you had to go through that where you had to kind of learn that. Like what was it for you? Like how did you learn that? How did you walk through that? Like how did that look?
Well, I will say this. I feel like for our generation, there has been more awareness for mental health. Um, I personally was not really exposed to that until I went to college. My college had offered free Christian counseling, and
Mm.
I did not want to go. Like, but my best friend at the time, she was like, just try, like it can't hurt, like it's free. And I was like, you know what, that's fine. And but I was definitely in denial. I was like, I'm not crazy, I don't need to go to counseling. And this was like the life-changing moment for me.
Mm.
I went in and I took an intake form. This is not even a session. And she was like, just sit down and check off whatever you feel like relates to you, anything that you feel like you would want to talk about. So I'm looking at the intake, I'm like, okay, like I highly doubt this is gonna do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was like, sadness you can't explain. And I'm like, check. Family issues. I'm like, check. Worry. I'm checking and I'm checking and I'm checking and I'm checking. And I have a whole breakdown in the office,
Mm.
because that was actually my first time like really thinking and processing everything. Like God basically made me sit down and
Mm.
really face what I was going through. And it was I had to be it was like, you need to be still right now moment. And that's when everything that I was suppressing all came out, because I
Mm.
never really had the space. No one's really ever asked me like, hey, what are you going through? And or to even challenge me, because I didn't know. Like I'm not thinking of, oh, does family issues affect my mental health?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know. So that was the game changer for me. And then I was like, wow, okay. And they were like, we have a lot of work to do, but the beautiful thing is that you have a space to unpack all of this. And I appreciated that. And that's how my journey began.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah.
What about
That's so
you?
good. I mean, for me, how did my journey even begin? I think I got to like it actually was you, actually. We were having a conversation. We went out for coffee. It was me, you,
I do
and
remember
Katrina.
that.
We went out for coffee, and you were just sharing about like where you were in life and all the things and how much like counseling helped you out, how much like you got healing from it and just the things you were working through. And I remember going home and I was just like, wow, like that sounds actually really good. Like that sounds like something I actually really want to like venture into and tap into. Up until that moment, I didn't really give anything a thought. Like I didn't think of like, how am I feeling? What am I going through? Like I had like a very cut off kind of culture. It was like, you're not reciprocating the energy, copy, don't need to talk to you anymore. Oh,
Yeah.
you feel a little shady, I'm not talking to you anymore. Like I would just cut people out. And I realized for me, I like to connect with people though. So if there was like internally, I wasn't realizing how it was affecting me, but it was really affecting me. And like, and amongst other things that I dealt with. But I remember talking and thinking about what you were talking about, and I reached out and I was like, hey, how do you even go about that?
Yeah.
And fast forward, I started taking sessions, and it was Christian based. So I started like unpacking the things. But I think the biggest piece was a assessment that they gave, where it was like finding out how I was internally like wired. And that really opened my eyes, because I think when you understand yourself,
Yeah.
and how you process things and how you want things, and the different needs that you have, you're able to get to a different space, because now you're understanding, why is this triggering me? Why is this pissing me off so much? Like, what is it here that's bothering me? And being able to kind of have that open up to me, I was able to now start to process certain things, process even things that I go through like on a daily
basis. Yeah.
And so yeah, and I think that is really big. Like I think a lot, like the church like cancels that out. The church is just like, all you need is Jesus, which I mean, all we need is Jesus.
No.
But the way they make it seem, it's like therapy, counseling, and talking about these things is not needed. All you need to do is just, just serve God, and everything else will be fine.
I feel like that's more old school church. I feel like now the church is kind of evolving to understand,
They
like,
are.
that's, yes, we need Jesus, but it's okay to also have community. It's okay to also talk to
Yes.
someone. But what I did love about my counselor is that she basically gave me that revelation. You see how like we've built trust and now you're opening up to me? The great counselor can do way more than I ever can. So it was like, wait, I can go to Jesus and tell him I'm angry. I don't have to show up scared to be like, oh, hail King Jesus. I'm angry, but I'm going to act like I'm not angry because you are a mighty king. When it's like, no, he can handle our emotions. He wants us to process our emotions with him. I'm vulnerable with you, Jesus. I'm sad. This person hurt my feelings. I don't feel my greatest right now, like, and when I started understanding to like, no, I can talk to Jesus about everything. I can vent to him and my lowest places, like in life where I felt like my friends or family members couldn't understand. I had major breakthrough just like spending time with God and just like letting it all out or journaling it out, but I was going to him.
Yeah, I think towards like towards like a little bit towards like the ender part of my journey with, I'm not saying that right. Like I like when I started off in the beginning, it was like more focused on that. But then as I ventured out, yes, when I started actually getting serious with the Lord and actually taking him seriously, because in the beginning of counseling, I was not really taking the Lord that serious. So when I actually started taking him seriously, like yes, that was like the biggest key. Like even till this day, I journal everything. I journal everything, even just like sitting like, and I mean like this is something too that like is something that can be applied, that you can also try. If you're like you don't know where to start, if you don't have access to Christian counseling, if you feel like you've been suppressing and you don't even know what you're suppressing, or you don't even know like if you even have a problem, you probably do. And what you can start off doing is just sitting with God with it. Bring it to him. Like you can bring everything to God. Everything. He, first of all, he already knows. So you don't gotta hide it. And as you bring it to him and you open that up for him, now you invite him into those hurt, into those pains, and you allow his sovereignty to be able to come in to bring his wisdom and his knowledge on how to go about it, how to heal from it, how to journey through that. So that's like something that you can start off with, like after you get off, like stop watching this episode, go to your room, literally, like just start it like right now, like go to the Lord and bring it to him and allow him to walk you through that journey of healing.
Yeah. And I'm thinking of like the story of Lazarus. Like he knew he was going to resurrect him, right? But his family were like, they were crying and Jesus wept with them. But he already knew he was going to heal them, but he sat in that emotion with them, you know? So Jesus cares. He cares about how you're feeling. Psalm 35 is a really good one. Like just to see how David was telling him everything, like, vindicate me, like people are they have bad plans for me, and he's just talking to him, to God, and it's like, wow, I can talk to God about everything, you know. So yeah, so just be encouraged with that. The Lord knows. He's the lifter of your head.
Yes, and reach out, you know. We have like our socials or email or whatever. Reach out. We can actually connect you with Christian counseling as well, and we can help you get on that journey. So definitely reach out. Comment down below if you're walking through your healing journey. Let us know how it's going. Let us know what works for you. Let us know how did you get into that. Where are you now? You know, and definitely if you're not subscribed, subscribe because you don't want to miss our next episode.
Yes. So we'll catch you on the next episode at Lift Up Your Voice podcast. Bye, guys.